If you was making sweet potatoes, do you put 1 cup of water or do you put 2 cups of water?
What kind of sweet potatoes?
Sweet potatoes, candy yams.
Candy yams? How much sweet potatoes am I making?
A pot.
Feed how many?
It's a cooking channel?
Do you
Feed
put
how many people?
1 cup of water, 2 cup of water.
How many people are we feeding? It doesn't matter?
Nope. 1 cup of water, 2 cup
Well,
of water.
I'm born and raised African. I'm not African American, so I don't know y'all culture. But if I were to make it, I don't know, shit. 2?
Sweet potatoes, you don't put no water in it.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to pass, but
Wait, so
Good.
so you wanna
That's
steal?
good.
So y'all both gonna walk away? You gonna walk, okay?
Yeah. What? That's slave food. I don't do that, babe. I'm not a slave. I was never a slave. I don't know how slaves cook. I was never a slave, babe. I know where my grandfather came from, my great-grandfather, and where all their ass came from. Your ass don't even know. You
The Africans is at it again. You know what's funny? Like I always said when I did these videos growing up here in Southwest Philadelphia in the black conclave, there wasn't we didn't have these conversations at 50 years old when you was just black growing up. Now when I came to the internet and I got around other FBA foundational black Americans, I found out that there was different things going on in different cities across America. But in the demographic of Philly, Jamaicans, Liberians, and maybe Ghanaians, we all lived together in a community. There was no little Africa back then. Everybody just lived in a community together. And I really didn't see how they would talk about us, right? So I was ignorant to that for a while. Up until the last 20 years, I started seeing Africans come here from Ivory Coast, Nigeria, Zimbabwe, Uganda. They start coming in from different places, and they had different thought processes on African Americans. And I had a homie that's from Liberia, and he told me, he said, listen, man, y'all make jokes about us. He said, but they talk about y'all like dogs, man. He said, I could marry your sister or a black American woman, and y'all will accept me and bring me into the fold. He said, but if if an African woman want to marry a black American man, they say a whole bunch of disparaging things about y'all behind the scenes, man. Like it's real ugly and disrespectful. So he was bringing me up to speed on what's going on. And then we seen this internet explosion, right? Where black Americans start calling Africans out for their disrespect, coming here saying that we don't need reparations, basically going against us. They can't wait to come here and smell some white cooch, right? They go get the Pink Panther, and they speak against us, right? They've been doing this for some time now, and now foundational black Americans are tired of it, right? So you seen this woman in the beginning of the video, she calling our soul food slave food. We don't know who we are. I mean, it's horrible. Check this out.
I'm not. I came here with a flight. I didn't come to America with a ship.
Oh, so we got people that you guys scream we supposed to jump in front of the front lines and protest for, talking crazy about black Americans. Watch this.
Pure African. I'm not an African American. Like this boy said. Like I'm not. I came here with a flight. I didn't come to America with a ship. So there is a difference, you know. There's a different blood flowing in our stream. So he can say this is not the toughest fight. He knows.
You see the Nigerian, he's talking trash before he got his behind knocked out, right? He went to talk to Jesus for about a good 5 minutes. That left hook, boy, gave him a permanent pose. Man, we thought he was gone, but he came back. But he was, he said that he came here on a plane and we came here as cargo. And just, and I hear that a lot, right? They call us slaves. They call us all kinds of different names. But you know what's funny? They want to come here and benefit off of what we laid down. While at the same time, when we want to self-identify now, we don't want to be, we're not African Americans. We're not none of that. We're foundational black Americans that built this country that was here from the foundation of America. America don't exist without us. From Clarence Skip Ellis to Dr. Monroe Blackwell, we invented the internet, right? The things that the interface with the internet, we moved. And our inventions move this country forward in the world, right? And we want to be recognized for that, right? So now Africans want to latch on to our accomplishments and things that we put down while not trying to be associated with us is all. So now when we say, you know what, we separating ourselves and we just foundational black Americans, those are Africans. The same way the Yorubas do with the Igbos, the Wolof, the Mandingos, they all got their separate group and their separate culture and their tribalism. We're being tribal now. Right? Because we've learned that extending our arms out to everybody has been to our detriment. right? So now the Democratic Party is bringing in all these immigrants, trying to overtake us and create a whole new voting bloc separate from us where we have no say-so. So now what you have is African chiefs. They're trying to apologize. They're apologizing in Ghana for the atrocities that happened to us, right? They're saying this.
I wish at this point to particularly to apologize deeply on behalf of the chiefs and people of Gold Coast and Ghana for the atrocities, the cruelty, the inhuman treatment that were committed 400 years ago by my ancestors during the Atlantic slave trade, where over 400 years ago, millions of our brothers and sisters were captured, sold, and transported under inhumane and cruel circumstances through Elmina Castle across to the Caribbeans and to the New World. On behalf of the chiefs and people of Ghana, I do render unqualified apology, deep from the bottom of our hearts.
Now, while this Ghanaian chief is apologizing for slavery, right? There's other Africans, when his sister went back to Africa to find her ancestry and to sit down and have conversations, they sat there and mocked this woman. They sat there and disrespected this woman. They knew that this woman was emotionally charged up to be able to even come back and sit there, right, and have conversations with these people, and they thought it was a joke. They made fun of this black woman. I would have got up and would have never went back there to them people ever again, right? But remember, they want you to come back. They want to charge you to go to the slave ports to see where they stole your people from and sold them. I think that that's an insult in itself, right? But check this out.
In slavery was like.
The king of Abume.
Because the king had such a good relationship with the Europeans, did he know what European slavery was like?
The king of Abume never sold people as a slave. Those men and women travel to America to work with those Europeans, and they want to have good relationship with those Europeans. So if today we talk about slavery, it's to show the negative parts of the kingdom of Abume. But that is not right. It is wrong. So this is the fact.
Is the king saying the fact is that my ancestor was not sold into slavery?
Okay. The king said that they never sold people.
Because my ancestor, Kosolo, told his children and his children's children, and he did not go willingly. To say that Africans were not sold into slavery is not only false, but it makes it seem as though he thinks I'm foolish. I feel very much so mocked by the laughter, and that got me even more enraged to the point to where I wanted to get up and walk away.
I was stunned. Do you know we lost relatives, and for you to sit here and deny it, it was shocking to me.
I didn't want the conversation to go where it was going. I just didn't want nobody to be hurt. He's not going to say that his family was part of an illegal slave trade.
So you see, that's an African sister going back to Africa. That's a black, foundational black American sister going back to Africa to find her roots. And when she goes back, she asking some real important questions. And they're mocking her and making fun of her. And they're not even telling truths. They're telling lies, right? It's just a disgrace. So like, I ain't going to say all, but a lot of these people don't take us serious, right? And this is one of the reasons why Foundational Black American was created in the first place, because we tired of people disrespecting us and not taking us serious, right? She's over there. You can see she's about to cry. They don't care. They don't care. And I would fear for my safety over there around them. Once they start acting like that, I don't trust anything can happen. I don't trust none of that stuff. She's asking questions and he's lying and saying we didn't sell this. he has this great relationship with the European. He knows the history and he knows exactly what happened. But instead of him just being honest and transparent and telling her, they over there mocking her. And the thing is, they're not the only ones that was doing that kind of stuff, mocking black people, right? You had the Mexicans and the Latinos back in the 50s, right? They didn't want to be classified, as brown or minority. They wanted to be classified as white. They didn't care nothing about our struggle. They didn't want to be nowhere near connected to our struggle. They didn't want to be around us. They looked down on us. They seen us as worse as the gum at the bottom of their shoe, right? But then you had some riders, right? You had an African sister that was calling other Africans out and telling the truth. She broke rank and was saying, yo, listen, this is what they do. Because like I said, it's so bad. It's so bad, like if like I said before, if an African married my sister, it wouldn't be no big deal. But we married to their family, they got all kinds of disparaging things to say. But look, check this out.
I argue that Mexicans were legally white and should not be subjugated to the same Jim Crow treatment as blacks. Latin Americans of Mexican descent belong to the Caucasian race and are therefore white, which is true. And I say, let the Negro fight his own battles. His problems are not mine. I don't want to ally with him. I know Negroes aren't given their full share of democracy, but frankly, I'm prejudiced against Negroes, and I do not believe that they are entitled to everything that we get.
And we taught our kids the same thing. That's why they can play with you. I can't bring you home. We are a white race, and we should not be treated like colored people.
Yes, you guys don't like Black Americans at all. You guys just say bad things about them. They're criminals. They're from slavery. They are not from Africa. They don't know their home. Oh, it's so sad. All the time, you look at a black man and you tell them that, oh, you are from America. You are not African. You are not from Africa. You are lost. You are from slavery. I'm not a slave. You are a slave. Shame on you. Shame on you to even open your mouth. Do you know how painful that is? Whether they look like you or they don't look like you, they are your people. And you say to their face that you are not one of me. You are a slave. Wow. Do you know the pain that our ancestors went through? Just because you were not colonized does not mean you should open your mouth to call somebody a slave.
See, a lot of Africans try to act like Africans and Caribbean people try to act like they don't get it. They try to act like we don't understand. They don't understand what we're saying, right? We never said that we hate all Africans or Caribbeans or anybody. That's not the truth. We just want our story to be told the right way, and we want to be the ones to be the author of our own story. We're tired of people naming and claiming us and extracting resources from us while at the same time looking down on us. So what we're doing is gatekeeping like every other group does, right? And remember, in the marketplace, other groups are here to capitalize off of you, right? So as long as you've been sentenced to a lifetime of consumerism and consumption, their job is to keep you in that position because their lifestyle is predicated on your dysfunction. Now, there's some African riders that do get it, and they starting to call out and speak out because they do stand with us. So this African brother, he stood up for foundational Black Americans, and he said this.
The major division is between, let's say, Black Americans and Africans right now.
So generally, Black Americans, not until recently, Black Americans have been the biggest supporters of the progress of Africa, for Africa to be able to do well. They have always been. When people come out of Africa, when a particular person, say in any capacity, trying to make a difference, Black Americans have always amplified such individuals. Even as recently as the young man from Burkina Faso, you can clearly see if you go to IG, it was Black Americans trying to give a voice. Most Africans, especially the ones that live in diaspora, they don't give a damn. So Black Americans have always been at the forefront of trying to get Africa work. All right, they were the inspiration that gave rise to the independence in Africa. It was their leaders that inspired all the Kwame Nkrumah, all the people that you see revolted in their various places. It was Black Americans' inspiration. Now, why did Black Americans do that. They felt that these people who share the same melanin, because it is only normal, it's only reasonable to say, hey, these ones that belong on the other continent, that share the same melanin, it's only normal to say, hey, you're not doing so well. I want to encourage you to do well. Now they began to inspire Africa. They began to all the fights that they fought in America was to ensure that Africa can at least find way to come and become a natural allies with them. Those were the vision. But at the end of the day, you see people coming over to the America rather than being natural allies to these people that supported you, that gave you light. You became adversary to them. You joined the real enemy. You want to please the enemy against them. So that this is the origin of the animosity. And even as far back as 10, 15 years ago, Black Americans were not showing their discontent towards Africans. They were not. It was only recently, because Africans became far more emboldened in their assertiveness. They became quite insulting. They became quite abusive. They became condescending. Imagine coming into a space, disrespecting the natives, trying to please the real enemy, joining them, thinking is a competition. This was what resulted to them. They began to speak up because the thing became too much, and then they had to. Anybody would. It became so obvious that anybody would clearly see it. Then they began to speak up. So the idea of delineation has to happen, because clearly people who are supposed to be natural allies are joining the enemy. So why wouldn't you delineate with them, delineate from them? So they don't understand alliance. It doesn't make sense to them. None of this makes sense to them. So the idea of alliance became a thing, and it has to happen, because that's the only way people can now begin to take accountability. That is the only way accountability can step in. Because without delineation, you can see somebody who is from Somalia. He'll be saying, oh, you're punishing me. You're trying to send me out of America because I am black. No, you're not. You are Somalian. You committed fraud. You came in with nothing. You're stealing everything. Now you're trying to say you're black, just to run behind it, and then have all of us as a target. No, you are the target. You caused the problem. So these are some of the things that we must critically look at. Delineation is very, very, very important. That way we can see what each group is bringing to the table. Not running and using other people's identity, running behind other people's identity to act like, because most of these people, when they come back home here on the continent, they begin to call themselves Black Americans. They some of them pose, they try to look down upon some of us, because they come. These are some of it. That's why we need delineation, so that you know who you are right from the onset. So that you if you can't do something to improve where you come from, then the shame is upon you. Then that is what we want. We need delineation. Very, very important. Thank you.
All right, my next question is...
No. You can't hide that. Hold on. You can't hide that. You can't just hide that. Hold on. I gotta let... That's not nothing you just gonna jump on real quick and just... That's something you gotta let marinate for, man. Hold on. This brother gets it. Shout outs to my brother right here. Hold on. Yo, hold on. He gets it, family.
So if that African brother can get it, they all get it. Some of them just don't have any respect for you because you're not supposed to have a culture. In America, everybody else's lifestyle is predicated on your dysfunction. These cities are marketplaces, right? They're marketplaces. And their job is to continue, is to constantly get you to respond to something that you are not. So you can constantly manifest behaviors that's not becoming of you growing. and becoming the best versions of yourselves in the communities. So you practice Pan-Africanism, you've been to Moor, you've been in the Black Church, you've been a Sunni Muslim, you've been in the Nation of Islam, you've been of all these different groups. And none of that has stopped gentrification in your community. It hasn't elevated us to the place where we're satisfied or where we need to be. These things have been a colossal failure. Now, our grandparents and great-grandparents of the past, they did everything they can to move us forward. Right? And we've always had our arms extended wide of inclusion to allow everybody to come in to our groups. But when people came in, they came in with judgment. They came in and extracted resources from our community and didn't put things back in. And we're tired of that. We're calling it out. A Jamaican can be a Jamaican, a Haitian can be a Haitian, a Nigerian can be a Nigerian, right? While at the same time, identifying as black people, right? And I say this, right? We spent a long time telling Dominicans that they're black, but I'll say this. None of them, we're the only black people on the planet. Black Americans are the only black people on the planet, and I'll tell you why. When other groups come here, they have a nationality. They say they have a culture, identity. They identify as Haitian. They identify as Jamaican. They identify as Nigerian, South African, Botswanian, Zimbabwean, right? They identify as New Zealand, when they come in from the Australian, when they come in from these different places, right? But being black, especially black America, has an identity connected to it. It has a history, a culture connected to it. So when you come here, no, you aren't black. You are Dominican, right? Because when you come here as Dominican, but when you want to reap resources or get in trouble, you want to identify as black. But the only time you want to identify as black is when it's beneficial to you, because you know who the black people are. You said that we don't have an identity, we don't know who our parents are, we don't have a culture. So we identify under our blackness in America that's connected to our history here in America. No, y'all not black. We are the only black people. Everybody else are coming here with their own identity and their own nationality separate from us. So don't tell Dominicans that they're black anymore. They're not. They're Dominican. That's who they are. They're not connected to Clarence Skip Ellis, Dr. David E. Blackwell, right? Fannie Lou Hamer. They're not connected to those people. Mary Bethune-McLeod. They're not connected to those people, right? We are a specific group of people that influence the world, right? That influenced the world, that people came and joined in because we extended our arms out. And now what we did was we closed the window, shut the door. You got to now ring the doorbell, and we got to allow you in. Because before, we was just allowing anybody to just walk in, and you walked in and you stepped all over us. You joined political parties and got you a W woman or a W man and spoke out against our reparations, spoke out against us. Even joined hip hop and cosplayed as Black America, even though you were Jamaican or Bohemian, you took on Black American culture and had the audacity to say that we don't have any culture. That's what you've done. And this is why we have separation. It has nothing to do with hating. It has everything to do with us acknowledging who we are and teaching the world how to treat us. It has everything to do with that. So, listen, if you don't understand that, then it just lets me know that you have no respect for us. Because you would never allow us to come to Nigeria and come around Igbo or Yoruba or Hausa or Fulanis or go to Senegal and be around Mandingos or these other groups and come there and start to replace you or say that you don't need things or put our nose in your politics. You would never allow it. And guess what? We wouldn't do it because it would be disrespectful. So if you made it this far in the video, hit that like button, subscribe to Street Media TV, leave your comments in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. And remember, I love y'all. Till the next time. Peace.